So within my lifetime of owning devices, there's usually a handful of phones at any given moment that are probably some of the worst deals out there and make zero sense of buying even as a side iPhone. Now, the big ones are basically phones that are kind of unsupported with software. The iPhone 7 and below are the ones currently that are pretty much no longer supported, even though they're still getting security updates. There's not a big reason or big point of even picking up those devices. Going one step further, phones that are about to be unsupported with software are also pretty much devices I wouldn't really recommend buying anymore either. Although you could still buy them and still probably have a decent time with them, you are far better off buying something that is pretty much still going to have a future ahead of it. Things like the iPhone XR and 11, and unlike phones like the iPhone 10 and iPhone 8 and 8 Plus that are soon going to be pretty much discontinued with software. But a big iPhone out there that is pretty much a one genre of iPhone, not necessarily like one particular device, are kind of like the 64 gigabyte version of iPhones right now. And if there's an iPhone that starts off at 64 gigabytes, you might be better off just going and upgrading your phone to the next phone entirely rather than buying the 128 gigabyte version of that phone. Now, what do I mean by this? Well, phones like the iPhone SE 3, phones like the iPhone 12, those iPhones both start at 64 gigabytes. So if you're going in the brand new market and you're buying one of these devices, you have to remember that these phones are starting off at 64 gigabytes each. That could be a problem for some people. Now, the weird thing is, if you're going to want to upgrade to that next version of software, or the next, iPhone with the next version of hardware, meaning the 64 to 128 gigabyte model, you have to remember that you're going to be increasing the price of that iPhone. And it may not even make a lot of sense to do that, because the big thing here is that a 128 gigabyte iPhone 13 is the baseline. The iPhone 13 mini, 128 gigabyte is the baseline. There's no 64 gigabyte version of those phones. So starting with the iPhone 13s, basically every iPhone after that has essentially had some sort of, 128 gigabyte model that's came out, except for the SE3 that technically came out after, but every iPhone after has had that model. So I say that to say, if you're in the market and you plan on buying some sort of new phone in the future, you are going to be so much better off if you do actually buy an iPhone that is currently, a 128 gigabyte iPhone or newer that starts off with that in the base model. So personally for me, that's what I would recommend, and that's what probably would make the most amount of sense for probably the average person out there, in my opinion. So in terms of that kind of covers it up there. If you have any other thoughts or questions, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that'll mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.